Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. During the Star Citizen 2020 birthday, we learned that iCache was not coming until approximately Q2 of 2021 now, which is a shame because I was expecting it for the end of 2020. iCache is incredibly important for server operation, item tracking, and is the requisite for server meshing, a true physicalized inventory, full persistence, and a number of other technologies that Star Citizen requires. This begs the question, what happened with iCache? Fortunately, there was a Spectrum thread of the same name with a dev response or responses from Chad McKinney. Let's start with the full question for context. In May, Chad McKinney wrote, "At this point, I think iCache / global persistence tier 1 will land before the end of the year, but I don't want to specify exact dates." And now, after 4 months, Chris wrote, "We've made great progress on iCache and we're hoping to have it in a live build by Q2 of next year." I understand very well how shit happens, and I don't want you to think that you can't say something like, "Oh no, that was a full step, we shouldn't say something like that ever again, oh, no deadlines ever," because I personally like to have deadlines. They give me insight of what the plans are and what to reasonably expect in a given time frame. Anyway, the point is, what happened? Was it simply harder to do the remaining work for iCache? Some unexpected tech was missing, iCache version 1 was nearly done, but didn't work as expected? Just to be sure, I want to say, guys, I'm not mad about the delay of iCache, I'm just curious. Thanks. So Chad McKinney replied, "When I wrote that, perhaps somewhat optimistically, that was indeed a reflection of the current predicted schedule for iCache and global persistence. In retrospect, I think I should have probably not said anything, even vaguely close to dates, because really, that's more part of the coordinated messaging that goes out with things like the roadmap. Our predicted internal roadmap for iCache wasn't communicated outward, and now this is being directly quoted as some kind of guaranteed delivery date, which it never was, just an internal predicted estimate at the time." To answer your question, what happened? Well, a few things. One, there ended up being some discovered work along the way in order to both deliver on the goals of iCache and global persistence while also setting us up for server meshing. Without going into too many of the details, for example, we have filled out more of the design of iCache to scale better by allowing us to query on data in a way that leverages the shard aggregation of the data. Additionally, we've laid out some more ambitious plans to deal with some of the inventory design work to set us up for planned features like separation of players and characters, death of a spaceman kind of stuff, and to support additional design tasks for things like physical inventory and cargo. There's more, but you get the idea. 2. Some resources have been borrowed away from iCache work here and there for things like long-term persistence, implementation and support, and some vital internal engine work to support the team. This hasn't been a huge amount, but it did impact the schedule. 3. We increased the amount of internal testing we are planning for the future set, and increased the amount of time dedicated to tooling and for debugging so that we can have more confidence when it goes live for the initial release. This is an incredibly deep set of changes to the game and backend. Rushing it out is to the benefit of no one. In the last video I did, I said the iCache service fleet was largely done, and most of the work is focused on integrating it into the game engine and updating all the game systems accordingly. That is still true. There was a follow-up question. For something so crucial for the future development of your game, don't you think there should have been more resources put into iCache instead of having them pulled? I know if my team was building a foundation, I would pull engineers off from less crucial, critical projects to fill those gaps, unless you don't have proper resources in the first place. Again, Chad replied, "Programmers aren't interchangeable, and the programmers working on the various parts of iCache and global persistence have a specific understanding of the game, engine, and back-end systems that cannot easily be duplicated by just adding someone new to the team, even if they are a very good programmer. As an analogy, consider that it takes 2 to tango, and adding more dancers isn't exactly helping. As far as having them pulled, that is part of the normal day-to-day priority calls that have to get made. And yes, on occasion, some difficult decisions result in longer term efforts being briefly paused to get something with more immediate impact like long-term persistence done for a release. Finally, we have to make quarterly pushes, and so yes, that means we still need people working on other parts of the game, not to mention Squadron 42. There was a further follow-up question as well. So, if I understand it correctly, iCache will open the door to separate the player and the character, meaning we'll be able to make more than one character, meaning one of the requirements for Death of a Spaceman, if you die, one of your characters inherits your stuff, will be done. Am I understanding this correctly? Again, Chad replied. We are laying some of the groundwork that will help make this possible, but I'm not saying that once we get iCache and global persistence in, that we'll have the split between players and characters. There is more work there to do both on the back end and in-game before that will be ready. For example, there are some service level interfaces that will need an update to account for the separation, and a lot of game code is going to have to change. We do know as well, actually, that Cloud Imperium are planning to do a update on Death of a Spaceman in a video pretty soon and talk about that, I believe. So we'll get some more information on Death of a Spaceman soon and the mortality of all characters and what's going on with that. But what do you think? Should iCache have been even more of a priority than it was now? And do you think that it wasn't ideal for it to be pushed back to Q2 2021? Or is it reasonable? Star Citizen's sort of ready when it's ready. This is part of the process and they don't want to rush work like this. It's done when it's done, and sometimes it's going to take longer. I'm sort of interested to know how people view delays. Is it like, oh, Star Citizen's always going to have loads of delays? It's annoying, but it's sort of like part and parcel of the game. Or is it something else? What do you think? Whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Every month we have a Star Citizen ship giveaway for October 2020. It is for a Mercury Star Runner. This highly anticipated multi-role ship is going to be great for small to medium-sized crews that want to do a bit of everything, whether that be cargo running, data running, missions, combat, smuggling, all that sort of jazz. And it's going to be in-game and flyable very soon. All you've got to do to be in for a chance of winning one is comment on any of my videos made during October, including this one. More details down below. What am I shilling for today, I hear you ask? Do you hate it when people steal all of your money and your house over the internet? I know I do. NordVPN may have been invented by wizards to help protect your personal data from the prying eyes of the dark web, a sinister cabal of technomancers that grow in power the more they know about your browsing habits. The true story of NordVPN's origins are unknown and lost to the ages, and without using facts, no one really knows how it provides more accessibility to otherwise censored websites or a safer security experience for all that use it. All I know is that it does, and that when you sign up to it, the power level of my bank account grows, and I use it, and maybe you should too.